Start your week smiling with your friends, Kathy Zant and Michelle Frechette. It's time to get ready for some weekly motivation with WPMotivate. Happy Thursday, Kathy.
Happy Thursday, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I recovered. Mostly recovered. I still have the Brenda Vaccaro thing going on with my voice. Remember her, Brenda
Me too.
Vaccaro?
As soon as you said
Like,
that, I was like, there's so much of our audience who'll be like, who's Brenda Vaccaro?
who
Look
the
it up.
heck is that
Just look it
lady?
up.
Yeah, she talked like this. Like she
She
had a
had a
very
very
grave,
raspy. Yeah.
yeah. So I've got the deep voice. Should do some voiceovers or something.
You
You'd
should.
never know it was me.
In
So
the
I've been like
80s,
avoiding making what?
in the 80s, during soap operas, because I would watch soap operas like in summer and right after school and whatever. It was always, this is Brenda Vaccaro for Playtex tampons. She did those commercials, and I was like, who's Brenda Vaccaro? My mom's like, oh, she's an actor, goes way back, whatever. She probably was
Yeah.
on the Love Boat at one point in time or another.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm gonna go have to look up the Brenda Vaccaro Love Boat episode and see what happened.
I've been
Because,
rewatching the Love Boat. It's on I don't remember which one, whichever streaming service it's on. I've completely forgotten. Paramount, I think. And
yeah. Okay, I got that one.
either that or it's one of them. It could be. I think that's it. Anyway, I remember it like watching it as a kid, right? Because it was like an hour-long show, and of course, when you watch it without commercials, it's like 40 minutes or something. And I remember as a kid thinking they were all these big stars on it. And now I rewatch, I'm like, who's that? Who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that? And then there are some, like Ray Bolger was on an episode, and like people from other sitcoms and things like that. I think it was the kind of thing where your agent tried to get you on there so that your other show would get a boost, boosted
Yeah.
rating, that kind of stuff. But it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been watching that. Anyway.
That and Fantasy Island was the other one that was just like
Yes.
that too. Like
Yeah.
like
But
the
Fantasy
Dukes of
Island.
Hazzard are on Fantasy Island.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
Except Fantasy
great.
Island always had like a sinister aspect
Oh, yes.
to it.
Yes.
And Love Boat was just so crazy. And I've been watching it going by today. I've never been on a cruise. So like that's the first caveat. I've never been on a cruise, but I see commercials for cruises, and I follow this one TikToker, Erica from America, who's like on the biggest cruise ship, and she works the cruise ship, right? In the PR department and everything. So I see like how enormous cruise ships are by today's standard. And like the cruise ship in the Love Boat looked so big when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, it's only got like 4 floors. Like it's so
Yeah.
tiny. There's
Yeah.
two tiny, like the Lido deck, and then whatever. Like they go into Pirates Cove. Like there's only one bar. There's only one dining hall, and anyway, it's
Yeah.
just, and you could tell like at the time I'd never been on a cruise. I didn't know it was the 70s, it was the 80s, whatever. But you look now, like the doors don't automatically close. Like it's really a floating hotel, so the doors automatically close, right? And also they just look like hollow core like apartment doors. And so they just like open and close them, and like there's not even a lock on it. Doors. It's like
Yeah.
so obviously a sound studio, but anyway,
Yeah.
it's funny to go back and rewatch shows like that from your youth or whatever, and just see how
It's
strange and formatted for
it's
different
a
size.
different experience. Yeah.
And it's a square, right? It's a square as opposed to the letter box that we think of now.
Yeah.
And so it's like just in the middle of your TV or whatever. Anyway,
Right.
it's just funny, but for
My
today's,
thing with that.
go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, tell
Well,
me
I was
about
gonna
it.
say my thing with that is like Brady Bunch episodes because we watched
Oh,
them when we were little kids.
yeah.
It like my brother and I would play a game. Like we had to guess which episode it was. Whoever would, because it would start, and like Carol would walk in an apron or whatever, and
All right.
we would get it within the first 10 seconds of like what episode was it
Isn't
because we
that
had watched
funny?
the rerun so many times. I've seen every single Brady Bunch episode, and so like to watch one of those now, it's just like what a different world.
Do you
Just
remember when
what
the
a different world.
the kids entered the singing competition to win their parent money to buy their parents an anniversary gift?
Yeah.
Do you remember
I
what they called their band?
Oh my gosh.
Trivia,
I've
trivia.
got the song going through my head already. But the sunshine day,
Yeah.
everybody singing. Does that scare you that it's like right there? That like just comes right out.
Well, does
Like
it scare you that I know they were the silver platters because that's what they wanted
the
to buy their
silver
parents?
platters, right? Because they had to get mom and dad the silver platter. Sunshine day. Need
Everybody
Brenda Vaccaro
smiling.
singing the Brady Bunch. You didn't expect that on this episode of WP Motivate, did you?
Oh, I mean, we keep them guessing. They never know what they're gonna get week to week with us. That's for sure. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, and then there's the Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. And there's like, oh
Mhm.
my nose, and then there's Mom told us not to play ball in the house. Like all of the quotables.
Yes, all of the quotables. Great Greg's groovy apartment up in the attic. I always wanted a groovy apartment up in the attic. I never got one. I
Oh,
had to
he
go
had an
like
he invented an alter ego too, but I don't remember the name of his alter ego. Remember when he was like, oh, Johnny Bravo. Wasn't it Johnny Bravo?
Johnny
Oh
Bravo. Yes.
my gosh.
Man,
Oh, we were
70s TV, it's got nothing on it. All these reality shows and crap that
mhm.
like my husband's watching on Netflix, I'll like walk in with his food and be like, what the
Yeah.
heck is this? Like just crazy. The Love is Blind thing. He was into that for a
Oh,
while. And I'm just
yeah.
like, this is not TV. I'm sorry. Like I need a good Sherwood Schwartz visit to Gilligan's Island or something, and I was always just watching that stuff. We never got control of the television at nighttime.
No.
So it's like those few hours before mom and dad got home and you were home from school and there was a rerun on, like I didn't care what it was. It was the best show in the world. Tarzan
Hmm.
reruns, I'll watch that. Good
Do you,
stuff.
do you remember the original Superman in black and white? It was before our time, but they would
Yeah,
run it in rerun
yeah,
at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I remember the episode where George Reeves, who played Superman in that, and the fun, I mean, the costume, right, was just hysterical compared to today's
right.
standards too.
Yeah.
And he picked up a lump of coal and he squeezed it so hard it turned into a diamond. And when he opened it up, it was already cut and faceted, right? Like it wasn't just this raw diamond. It was like perfectly chiseled, cut, humongous diamond. And at the time, I was like, wow, I didn't even know you could do that. Like as an adult, I'm like, it wouldn't be chiseled. It wouldn't be like faceted. Like, what the hell? Like if he could, if they showed us him cutting it with his laser eyes, then maybe, but like he didn't
Yeah.
just squeeze it and it came out perfect.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like well, he is Superman after all.
This
So
is
it
true.
was
This I
kind
guess I
of a
could
different world.
It was for sure. Oh my goodness. Well, one of the things that I also have loved over the years, I don't even know if they have it on anymore, but I used to watch this on the weekends, was Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton.
Yeah.
I used to love that he would get people on that show who would talk about their careers. And it was, at an acting school. So all of the audience would ask questions about how they achieved this, that, or the other, how they felt acting a particular role or whatever. And they were always big named actors, right? So you could actually like learn something about these people's lives, and it was just so different than like tabloid stuff and whatever that we see nowadays. There was no clickbait, if you will. But one of the things I always loved was at the end, he would ask everybody the same set of 10 questions, which became known as like Lipton's questions kind of thing. And I will tell you that when I created WP Coffee Talk, what I always call rapid fire questions are based
Yeah.
on the Inside the Actor Studio. Like I
Nice.
thought of doing it like that, right? So I thought you and I could answer the questions because it might be kind of fun and an insight
Okay.
into who we are as people. And so I'll ask you and then I'll answer for myself as well. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Hey, Captain Stubing was never on Inside the Actor Studio that I know
He
of.
was
So
not.
we're better. We're doing better than Captain
So
Stubing.
I'm 55 years old. Captain Stubing was 43 when he was the captain of the Love Boat. And he looked so old. He still looks old when I look at it. And I'm like, are you sure he
Uh,
wasn't 60?
Yeah, seriously,
But
man.
F him for looking for making me feel old now or whatever. Anyway, okay, Kathy, what's your favorite word? Do you have a favorite word?
Twi Yes, I do, and I haven't used it in a very long time. Actually, I have a lot of favorite words, but
Mhm.
the one that popped into my head, Twitter-pated.
Ooh, that is a
I love
good
that word.
one.
It's
Tell us
not
what
one
it
you get to
means.
use often, but we should use it more, you'd think.
True.
Twitter-pated, it means to be happy and excited and, you know.
Oh, I love that. So
How about yours?
it used to be serendipity because I just kind
Mhm.
of like the idea, but it turns out that that's everybody's favorite word, so it's no longer my favorite word. Like that's like when like when they do a poll, so many people say that's
Yeah.
their favorite word. I'm like, I can't be like everybody else. I just can't. My favorite word is plethora. I don't know why. I mean, it means a lot of things, right?
It was, when I was younger, it was never used that much, but I've
Hmm.
seen plethora has had a resurgence in the
It
past few
has.
years, and I see
Yep.
it used much more often now.
Myriad is the other one I like. I like the way it flows off the
Myriad.
tongue. And they both actually mean
Yeah.
the same thing, which is kind of cool, or very similar. But
Nice.
also, I mean, if I'm gonna also like tell you my not safe for work word, it's definitely fuck. I love that word. I use it as often as I can, even when I'm just home alone talking to the cats. It
Yeah.
just it's like it clears my head. It's like one of those like reset buttons. I like
Yeah.
it. I'm not gonna lie.
It's definitely good. Someone once said that they used the F word like a comma. Like it just goes anywhere in a sentence, right?
It kind of
It fits
does.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a t-shirt on Twitter or not Twitter, on TikTok the other day that said, "Fuck you, you fucking fuck." And I thought, wow, they used it in so many parts of the language. Like it's a noun, it's a verb, it's like all of the things, you know?
Adjective.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Anyway, okay, what's
I
your
like also discombobulated because you
that is a
can
good
never
one.
become combobulated.
Yeah, that's
Combobulated
true.
isn't a word, but discombobulated is. So I like it because
Interesting.
it's breaks all the rules.
It really does. There are a couple words like that. I actually saw a TikTok the other day too about what they were calling fossil words. Words that we only use within certain phrases that are like to and fro. You never say,
Hmm.
"I'm going fro," like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So yeah, Twitter pated, to and fro, like those are words that are kind of like they're either old-fashioned, fossil words, and they're just fun. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so like
Definitely.
what's your least favorite word?
Can I say teenager?
You can. You absolutely
That's
can.
all.
Okay. You don't have to explain because we know.
I don't have to explain anything. But if you want to read my jokes about being the parent of a very precocious teenager, I'm sharing them on Twitter recently. So, just make sure you tip your waitress.
That's right. She's here all week, folks. Ching. I have a couple of
How
least
about
favorite
you?
words.
What's your least
So,
favorite one?
some of my actual least favorite words that don't have any humor behind them at all are things like cancer, things like,
Mm,
those kinds of words that have to do with just the total
strokes,
negativity. Yeah,
heart
exactly.
attacks.
Exactly. But I also I love and hate the word no because I don't like being told no, but sometimes I need to hear no.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't
sometimes you need
say
to say
it.
no.
I don't say it enough, but I need to say it more, right? So
Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with the word no.
Yeah. Boundaries are good. Boundaries are healthy, but
Yeah.
boundaries can be uncomfortable. And
My
I hate
boundaries
having
are
to
good. Other people's boundaries piss me the hell off.
Yeah. See, now I'm going to get
Not
into a teenager
really.
story if I start talking about boundaries. But yeah, boundaries are very, very important. But I don't want to necessarily say no. Like, I don't like saying no to my kid. I
Yeah.
want my kid to have a good life and have good experiences and stuff. But
Yeah.
no has been a very healthy thing for both of us on a
Yeah.
lot of fronts.
It really is. Like I said, love-hate relationship, right? Because
Yeah.
no is such a necessary part of boundary setting and self-care. We talked about self-care
Yeah.
before, so it really is. So anyway, there
Yeah.
it is. Love, hate, say no. Okay,
Yeah.
the next two questions are not sexually oriented, but what turns you on, as in makes you happy?
Um, Laughter, comedy,
Mm.
lulls,
Yeah.
practical jokes, um, breaking rules. Like I don't want to hurt anybody or anything,
Right.
but like at DEF CON at Caesar's Palace when all the hackers who were there were putting like googly eyes on the Caesar's Palace statues. And so you've got like Caesar there with googly eyes, stuff like that just cracks me up and makes me so happy. So
Hmm.
that's one of the reasons why I love securities because it's new, it's refreshing, it's like always something new to learn. So I like breaking rules. How
Yeah.
about you?
This is gonna make me sound like the person that I am that people don't realize, but I love the spotlight. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't have 5 podcasts because I shy away from being in the spotlight, right? I don't not
Yeah.
I don't apply to speak at WordCamps because I hate being on stage. I really do. But not just because I like accolades. I really enjoy the fact that I have gained so much knowledge about so many things in my life that if I can share them, maybe they'll at the very least entertain people and
Yeah.
maybe at the very most help somebody, right? So I I was painfully shy. We've talked about that before. I was a painfully shy child. I have blossomed into the complete opposite of that. But I really do enjoy like kind of being the center of attention now and then. So
Nice.
if that makes me selfish, so be it, whatever. But I think that I think I use my platform to help other people, so I'm okay with it. People think
Yeah,
that way of me.
yeah, that's good. You know what? Adjacent to that, one something that is, I don't necessarily like seek the spotlight, but there have been a few instances where I've been in a spotlight or been on a stage, and I have like, uh, WordCamp Phoenix last year. You were there, and I
Hmm.
got on stage, and it was like right after they had done intros and everything, and everybody, it was like the first talk for like after 4 years, and
Mm.
giving people permission to feel good and giving people permission to say, to ask them the question, are you happy to be back here? And they're cheering at me, but they're not really cheering for me, but giving people permission to like feel
Hmm.
good when you're like
Yeah.
in control of a room as a speaker, that is a turn on for me, because it's like,
Mm.
I just love to see people happy. I guess that goes along
Yeah.
with like the hacking stuff and everything. I like to see
Sure.
people break out of the fear restraints that they put themselves in.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we both have that. Like we we take what we do, and if we make people laugh, we make them happy, we make them learn, if help them learn, whatever the right question, where
Yeah.
terminologies are, then that makes us happy too. And so that's a
Yeah.
good thing
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What turns you off? Like what totally just like nope, nope, nope.
Narcissists.
Yes, I can get behind that. And along with that goes like ableists, racists, ageists,
Yeah.
sizeists, like all of the ists, right?
All of the yes. Communists. Can I put them in there too? Like,
Sure,
just
sure,
if you're going to be
absolutely.
like so attached to like things being a certain way, like all of the, oh, yeah. But narcissists, I have a special, because they're
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and they hurt other people for their own self gain. And I
Hmm.
have been around a few, and I don't like them.
Yeah. I was in a relationship with one for over a year, actually about a year after my divorce, who was so controlling as a narcissist that wouldn't even let me use my cane when we were together. And so at the
Lovely.
time, it was during the pandemic, I was lonely for sure, right? And it didn't occur to me at the time when you're in it, you don't see it. You just know you
Yeah.
feel bad, but you don't know how to break out of it. But breaking off that relationship was one of the most powerful things I've ever done for myself. So, yeah.
Mm.
I'm going to use your answer for that one as well because absolutely. I
Okay.
think narcissists and
So
all
this
of
is the
the
We Hate Narcissists episode. If you're a narcissist,
exactly.
turn us off,
That's
because we're
right.
turned off by you.
That's right. Just like you shouldn't be subscribed to this podcast if you're a narcissist.
That's right.
Go away.
Okay, that was all just for my own comedy, because that's like my favorite.
I love it. Well, what sound
Oh
or
my
noise,
gosh.
what sound or noise do you love?
Do I love um either kittens purring or kids laughing? I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with kittens purring. I fostered kittens when we lived up in Mount Shasta, two different litters, and
Hmm.
they would all just like come, like all five of them would come and sit on my lap and just purr. And it was just, I would literally go into an altered state with kittens
Uh,
because they were so loud, and they were all like just, oh, it's the
yeah,
best. Kitten purrs.
I
That's
love
my
that.
favorite noise, I think.
Well, mine is the other thing that you said is I could be scrolling through TikTok and if it's a baby laughing, I will smile and laugh just without even thinking about it. So I love that.
Yeah.
But also, I'm gonna say the ringtone that I set for my daughter in my phone because she doesn't contact me enough. So when I hear that sound, I'm like, Lydia got in touch with me. So yeah, so I'm gonna that's my second one.
Oh, too funny. I have one of the Apple ringtones, one of the
Hmm.
standard ringtones I had for an individual. We won't talk about that person, but they rarely called me with good news. And so whenever I hear somebody else, like I'm in a store and I hear that ringtone, it's like
It triggers you. Yeah.
completely. Oh my
Yep.
gosh. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
amazing what a
Exactly.
sound can do.
It sure is. It sure is. What sound or noise do you hate besides that ringtone? Because that's the next
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
question.
that one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it
There's a
can be
few
that one, but I'll go first.
there.
I was woken up at just around 8 a.m. on Saturday by a lawnmower in my neighborhood, so loud that it literally woke me up from a sound sleep. So I'm going with lawnmowers.
Isn't it still snowing there? Why are people mowing yet? Like that shouldn't happen for at least another month. What's wrong
I
with these
am wearing
people?
slippers, long sleeves, and do have my furnace on still, but it's not snowing. Oh,
Oh,
what's
too
your
funny.
what's the noise you hate?
Yeah, that leaf blowers, chainsaws, uh, any yard equipment that's too early in the morning would definitely be a thing. I'm gonna have to say Vicky, like my husband screaming for Vicky, and then I go in there
Yeah.
like, "What's wrong? What do you need?" And he's like, "I just missed you," and I'm like, doing a
Did you
bunch of
miss
stuff, or
did
like,
you miss me
I
or
was
Vicky?
just here like 2 minutes ago. You could have told me that then. I'm in the middle, or I'll be cooking dinner for the next 15 minutes and I won't be able to come in here. Do you need anything? And he'll be like, "No, I'm fine." 2 minutes later, go
Vicky.
in there and he's like, "I'm just checking on dinner, see how things are going." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I have a whiteboard now. I'll write things, but yeah, when he calls me for no reason whatsoever, that is a little bit irritating. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, right now that's about it.
I get it. I get it. The string trimmer just went by, so I'm gonna add that to my lawnmower sound.
The what did?
The
The
string
string
trimmer, the
trim.
weed whacker, whatever guy just went
Yeah.
by, and I'm like, yep, that one too.
Yep. Add that. Any yard equipment
Yeah.
basically is. Yeah.
What's your favorite curse word? That's the next question. I already gave mine. Mine is fuck. I love it. I lean right
Yeah.
into that, so that's my favorite.
Yeah. I can lean into that too. But so there's, okay. In Denton, where I live, there is a university called the University of North Texas, UNT. And they have these cups, right? And the
Yeah.
handle is black. And then so it's like a black, looks like a
Yeah.
C, and then it says UNT. So if
Yeah.
I'm really mad at someone, I'll call them a UNT cup.
Oh,
I'll just
that's
say that.
good.
I'm like, that mother effing UNT cup, because I won't say the actual C word in front
I
of my
understand.
daughter, but she knows
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I'm saying. But so I just
Yep.
say UNT. So it's odd. I don't have it, one of the UNT cups. I should have one. I
We
should have
need to get
two.
you one. We should get you. I
Yeah.
should get one. We should all have them.
We should all have UNT cups. Yeah. And then when I was in college, they had at the end of the we were on a speech team, and at the end of the year they would give out trophies and stuff, and one of the trophies was for contributing to the unity of the national team.
Oh my
And that was for the
gosh.
person who was like the worst team, like the person who was out for themselves, the person who
Yeah.
undercut their teammates, the person who was very selfish. And so one person would always get the UN or the contributing to the unity of the national team. So I always liked the acronym. But then it was so funny. They gave it to my best friend for something she did to me. It was
Oh
just like it was I had forgiven, but nobody else had. And it
my
was she
gosh.
just like got up immediately and like walked off, stormed out of there and like never spoke to those people again.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, so I like the C word. I don't
Yeah,
say it very often, but when I do, I mean it.
that's right. You don't just throw it around like the F-bomb like I do. It's one of those serious
It's not a
ones.
comma.
It's not a comma. It's
No,
an exclamation point.
it is. I mean business if you're a UNT cup.
I love that. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
You know,
Tell me.
how I comedy, yeah, I would do.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
fact, you
stand
were
up.
just telling me last week I should
You
probably
should.
start now. It's probably
I think
time.
you should. We got to
It's
find
about
you an open
time.
mic night. Yes, of course. That would
Yeah.
be a
How
perfect
about
one
you?
for you. Okay, so would I want to attempt it now? No, but what did I always have like ideas to do would be to sing on Broadway. Like I
Yeah.
thought that would be so fun. There's not a whole lot of like scootered people on Broadway stages. Like turns out you have to dance too, right? But like that was always like my thing. Or just be a singer. Like have
Yeah.
the ability to just share music like that. And I mean I do, but I'm no Adele. Let's just say it that way. But yeah, that would be something I would lean into a musical career for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love that. I would love to hear you sing. You should sing. You
Thank
could
you.
sing at home.
Yeah, I mean I do. I've got some stuff up on my YouTube channel if anybody's
I
interested.
hear diss tracks are popular now.
I
You
don't
do a
even know what
diss
they are, but
track.
we'll figure it out.
There's this big war between rappers, and so they do diss tracks
Oh
about each other.
yeah. Oh,
That's
okay,
this whole
right.
thing going on with diss tracks.
I thought you
So,
were saying disc. See, I wasn't paying attention.
oh,
Yeah,
Zoom.
disc.
Blame it on Zoom.
Yeah, I am. What's a profession you would not like to do?
Pretty much anything. I'm like,
What's like at the bottom of this? I don't want to embalm people. I would rather like
oh, yeah, no,
be a
thank
trash
you.
collector than embalming people. So that's mine. I don't
Oh,
want to embalm people.
okay. Along those lines, I could not ever work at a kill shelter where like
Oh,
people
same.
dump off their animals and then no, I
Yeah,
couldn't do it at
no,
all.
same. I enjoy a good steak, but I am not at the slaughterhouse for a reason. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And then the last question in this 10 question, I think I got them all, is if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
All right. I heard this guy talking about how God has a plan for your life,
Hmm.
and your job is to adhere to that plan as much as possible so that
Hmm.
when you die, the version of you that lived should be as close to that version of ideal that God
Hmm.
had for you.
Okay,
And when you die, you show up, and if you look like that, you win. So I'm hoping God says, "Well done," and shows
there you
me the
go.
vision that God had for me,
Hmm.
that I did better than I think I am doing,
I
which
want to hear him say, it's not your time yet. You got a few more years. We'll see you in a little
yeah.
while.
Uh, see, that's the thing, is like I'm like at the point where it's just like, okay, when it's my time, can I just need a few years rest here. Like send me back with
Yeah,
like some fresh stuff, like, you
yeah,
know, a few less
exactly.
stretch marks, maybe. like, like just send me
Can you
back with a
make me
fresh one.
taller and
And
thinner?
yeah.
I'm gonna ask it. I just thought of an 11th question. If heaven exists, what do you want to say to God when you get there?
Well, since we're swearing like crazy, what the fuck? What the fuck was that?
Exactly. Like, excuse me? Was all of that necessary?
Yeah, exactly. See, the funny thing is, I was like, when my mom had me, I was like 2 weeks late, and then I was sick for 2 months.
Oh.
And so the joke in my family is that I didn't really want to be here, right? And so the joke back at my parents, I'm like, do you blame me? I probably had some like foresight as what was coming.
I was
So
psychic in the womb. Thank you very
I
much.
was psychic. I knew. I was omniscient in the moon, in the womb, in the moon, that too. I just, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. So yeah, is what I would say to God, is what the fuck was that? Because it has been a crazy ride.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now I'm like having flashbacks of memories. Yeah, what the fuck? That's my
Sorry.
thing.
I didn't mean
How
to
about
trigger
you?
you. I would say, I would ask him things like that 14-year marriage. Why? Why did I have
Yeah,
to do that? Just why? Yeah, I don't know. There's probably I would probably look at particular things that happened in my life and say, explain why that was necessary, but yeah, I don't know.
same. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, so those are the 11 questions. We just added one to James Lipton.
yeah.
Do you have any that you'd want to add to the list?
I'm still having flashbacks, PTSD over here. I can't think of anything else. I will
Mm,
say, I wouldn't complain totally about my life. I've
no.
had a very, very blessed, good life. There's just been
Same.
certain things where I have the WTFs about them. But I am very, very blessed. And even with all the snark I have about my teenager and my husband and everything else, I feel very
Yeah.
blessed. I feel like I need to say that so I don't sound like I'm like ungrateful for the fact that, I've had I've had really miraculous good things happen in my life. So
Yeah.
we do have storms coming in later. So this is just my absolvement so that I don't get hit by lightning later.
No, and we've talked about balance before. It's okay on some days to focus on the negative as long as you don't live there, right? Like we talked about,
Right.
we had an episode about a month ago, or time is a construct. I don't know how long it really was. Where we talked about how you have to have good with bad.
Yeah.
There's balance in the universe. So if today we do talk a little bit about the things that are shitty, tomorrow we'll talk about, I mean, not on this episode, but we'll talk about the things we loved. We actually do that a lot too. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I joke a lot about like I tell people that we have this podcast and it's people actually tune in to listen to us just shoot the breeze. And hopefully they get something out of it. And if we make you laugh a little bit, then hey, that's awesome too.
That's all
I
I'm
still
here
think it's
for.
funny that like the art of Swedish death cleaning was one of the things people focused on recently. And I'm like, that's kind of cool too, though. So like it's awesome. I love it.
That's still haunting me because I walk around my house and I'm like, throw it all away. Like I'm just like clear all of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still dealing with all that fun stuff. I'm like ready when my daughter turns 18 and moves
How many days
out
is that?
and does 813. We're at
Oh, okay. Yeah.
813, counting a little bit. Um, uh, yeah, and if the husband is still around, well, he can come too if he wants to. If he's still, I don't know what's going on. I'm moving to the mountains with,
Yeah.
maybe get a couple of goats, some chickens, and a gun, and learn how to use it.
Yeah. And
And
it'll be handicapped
yeah,
accessible so I can come visit.
exactly. Oh, it will be handicap accessible. It will totally be accessible, and you can come visit whenever you'd like. But I don't. Most other people who are being a little too peoply lately,
They
they
can stay away.
cannot come to my little mountain hideout. They won't know the way.
That's right. Only certain people allowed. Thank you very much. That's what bliss is
Yeah,
about.
that's it.
Well, for what it's worth, you spark joy in my life, Kathy. I will not be
Uh,
Swedish death
and
cleaning you out.
awesome. Thank you. And thank you for always just brightening every single day that I get to talk to you.
Likewise. Thank you very much. And everybody else, we don't know what we're talking about next week. We never do. But we hope we make you smile and laugh along the way. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
This has been WP Motivate with Kathy Zant and Michelle Frechette. To learn more or to sponsor us, go to WPMotivate.com.